Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm at Ups and Downs Zebu Ranch in Citra, Florida. And this is Florida natural farming. So I was just at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm in Vero Beach, and I got about, 70 to 80 Garcinia madruno seeds. That tree down there just produces so much fruit, and I've been experimenting on a Garcinia madruno up here, and we had 26 degrees. Had like a week of cold weather. Everyone knows it's just been horribly cold. And I left a Garcinia madruno out in the cold. It's one of our seed-grown trees from our fruit tree down there that's growing naturally in nature. And it survived, and I'll show it in a bit, but it looks great. So I'm fairly certain that I can grow achachiro and different Garcinias, probably mangostana, up here underneath this large old growth oak canopy. This is a old growth forest of live oaks at our new property. It's one of the main reasons why I wanted this property, because of this beautiful old growth forest. And it's going to enable us to be able to push zones. And our bananas that I planted in the underneath the oak canopy never got any damage from the cold, but the bananas that were not under the oak canopy got completely fried. So I know that with the help of this beautiful old growth oak canopy, old growth forest, that it's going to enable us to push the zones here in 9A, and probably I'm thinking that we can grow all Garcinias. I know I can grow plenty of Eugenias. Cherry of the Rio Grande survived, a seedling I had that didn't even look affected by cold, and I'm fairly certain that I can grow cacao up here underneath this oak forest canopy, the old growth oak forest. But this was severely degraded, so all these little stakes, I'm putting stakes where I'm planting. I'm doing them in guilds of 2 to 3 seeds per stake in this area all through the forest. And then I'm going to, since we still own Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, I'm going to get seeds from our achachiro tree and the other Garcinias, the Hombromiana, and the 9 different Garcinias that we're currently fruiting, probably Luke's Garcinia this winter. Madruno is very good. I checked the price of seeds. They're like $7 a seed, and little tiny seedlings are $150. So I just already planted 20 to 40 Madruno seeds, and so 100 seeds basically of the Madruno would have been, if you can even get that, $700. Which you probably can't get 700 or 100 seeds of Garcinia madruno. And then the plants would have been, if I had put them in pots and planted them in pots, they would have been more than $10,000 to $15,000 for the trees. So the seedlings. So it's quite a savings. And Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm is just an amazing spot. And we grow everything. We dry farm everything. I have gotten some emails from somebody that posts on Tropical Fruit Forum. Tropical Fruit Forum is a source of misinformation as far as I can see. Some stuff is truthful, but they just never evolve. And I had to look, but I noticed that somebody said, oh, well, he waters. No, I don't water. I do not water. I haven't watered anything here. I've never watered anything when I planted at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. Well, let me take that back. Maybe newly planted tree seedling recently. I have given it water twice, a cup of water twice, just because I know it was started with chemicals and it was hot and dry. But all the mangoes and all the tropical fruit trees grown at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, none of them have ever been watered. None of the mangoes have ever been watered. I did connect some of our trees, a small percentage of our trees, to an artesian drip system. They called it artisanal drip system, which I don't even know what that is, but that's what I mean. The misinformation there is just like, it's second-hand gossip. And I have never gotten any information from outside sources. Facebook, ultra tropical groups, probably a lot better for information. And I know that the Australian information for tropical fruit forums is much better on Daly's website, Daly's Tropical Fruit Farm in Australia. But so I know that the old growth trees, I'm going to do a link to study on old growth trees. They say it's very hard to restore an old growth forest once it's been damaged. The worst damage is from mowing. I used to think walking was bad, but I don't think walking's bad. Mowing, I know, is horrible for any farm system. Because the weight of the machinery. If you're doing it with a scythe, it's totally different. But people in Florida, because it's so hot, they mow. And they cleared out the understory. So I'm trying to put the understory back in with a food forest. And I'm doing it with citrus and Garcinia trees and bananas. And I'm pretty sure I could grow coffee up here. I'm positive I can grow cacao up here. I'm positive, underneath the oak forest. So I started doing this. I have to do the rest of these 70 seeds. I'm just going to continue on here. I pay attention to where I'm planting the seeds, wherever I see gophers, which I did see some gophers. I try not to, or moles, this type stuff. I won't plant seeds near that. I plant in low spots. Garcinias can handle standing water. The soil is relatively soft considering they've been mowing it for 20 years, but there's no understory. You need the understory. You need the support species to enable these old growth trees to survive and prosper and grow and help the system. So there's so much microbiology that's undiscovered in these old growth forests that it's a shame that people in Florida just chop the trees down. I know that at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, there's probably two of the largest laurel oaks in Florida. Live oaks, or laurel oaks is what they are. They're not live oaks, but they look like live oaks. But I need to measure it and verify that, but I'm fairly certain that they are. So I'm going to do all through here. And in here is bananas. I'm going to do them. I'm going to do the more bananas up through here. Once my bananas repopulate down at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and pretty much I've moved out all this stuff out of there, so I don't have to do anything like that. And but the bananas I planted up here, I chopped the tops of them off, and it's been winter, it's been cold, but you can see some of them that sent out new leaves. The leaves are totally fine, unaffected. These will send out pups off the rhizome, so I'm not even worried about the bananas that haven't sent out leaves. But you could see 26 degrees and they didn't get affected. So I know that I can grow Garcinias here. And in my experience, all Garcinias have the same cold tolerance. Though I do not have Garcinia prainiana, which is supposed to be cold sensitive. But they also said that madruno is ultra tropical and Garcinia hambromiana is ultra tropical. But I know that I've held fruit on my achachiro has produced fruit down in Vero Beach at 31 degrees after getting 31 degrees and never suffered any leaf burn. Garcinias are extremely resilient and tough, and they send down a long taproot, so they might be able to heal the compaction layer that I know is going on in the soil. So what they did, they cleared out all the understory of the trees, so all the plants out of here, and then they mowed it, and then they'd rake up all the leaves, and then they burn it, and burn all the branches and all the twigs that fell on the ground. They'd burn it, and probably the worst thing anybody could ever did. In fact, when I was planting these trees and these bananas in here, the neighbors thought I was raking the leaves for days and days and days. Give me a break. I'm not, I do not rake leaves. I told my neighbors that I'm going to let this grow out and I'm not going to be picking up all the understory. People get afraid of fires, but the bananas and the ginger and stuff and the achachiros are very evergreen and waxy and hold a lot of water. And I'm going to do the aeroids under here. So I'm going to do a lot of plants that are have a lot of calcium oxalate in them, which excrete water when they're heated. So they're less likely to catch fire. Waxy leaf plants form relationships with fungi. Definitely, Garcinias are waxy leaf plants, and that's what enables them to survive. So there's definitely a huge mycelial network due to this old growth oak forest growing here. And they're going to tap into the achachiros and the madruno and the hambromiana and probably mangostana if I get my hands on some seeds. I haven't bought any seeds from Fruit Lovers Nursery since they ripped me off and never returned any of my emails. So I have to find a new source for mangostana seeds. But if I find some, I will get them and plant them. And other Garcinias that our trees produce fruit on, I'm going to plant the seeds here. That's the beauty of Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. It is a big seed source, and I save thousands of dollars by getting plants from there to plant up here. I don't want to have to buy any plants if I don't have to plant up here. I want it all to be just an organic traded plants or plants from divides from Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. And I just don't want to put a lot of money into a fruit farm that I'm not planning on using as commercial business. So we're just going to focus on miniature zebu. I don't want to sell fruits and seeds from this farm up here. I don't like doing that. It's just, I don't have time to do it and I don't want to do it. So it doesn't really matter. It'll be so long before these Garcinias produce fruit, though some of them will produce sooner. The madruno are very quick to produce at like 2 feet tall, and then probably the intermedia. And then, of course, we're going to have all those Garcinia Livingstonii. And I could plant probably 300 seeds of that up here. So I'm excited that we didn't sell Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, but it is still for sale. We're going to drop the price to 1.78 and put the pictures up, I think, next week. But look at these bananas. They survived the 26 degrees. There's no browning. This is why I wanted an old growth forest. And when I looked for property in Vero Beach, I was looking for old growth trees, and that's why I wound up in the spot we did. Very hard to find a huge forest of this size still intact in Florida. But up here, the people seem to respect the trees a little more than they respect them down in the southern part of the state, where they have no problem chopping down great big live oak trees and huge giant old growth pine trees, and then putting in little tiny 5-foot trees and calling that a replacement. And it's like, oh my God, there's just no comparison. So over here I have my Garcinia madruno tree seedling that I planted. I have some of my aeroids that were out at 26 degrees. No problem. That's Bernarda Pazzi, philodendron. It seems fine. This is Philodendron domesticum. It got trashed during the move, but it didn't get affected by the cold. They're 26 degrees and there's no protection here. This is the cedar cherry of the Rio Grande. But here's my Garcinia madruno without any protection. Got a little tiny bit of browning on it. I'm going to show that in the future. I'm pretty sure that's going to go away, but it's totally fine. And I know that this is proof that I can grow them underneath that oak canopy. So the bananas that got affected by the cold were out in the, not underneath the canopy. But they seem to be okay. There's still some green on the top, which kind of surprised me. It is still connected to the oaks, but not sheltered by the overstory. But they seem okay. But boy, look at our bananas that I planted. So beautiful here. I mean, these oak trees are this place just captures me. I love it. People wonder how I could sell Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. I'm like, well, because this place is I love this. This is like my dream property. And Vero Beach, they just don't have the big oak forests anymore. They have a few specimen trees and then the lawn. And that's what was going on in Vero Beach. It was lawn for 55 years, and the big, huge live oak trees or laurel oaks were dying. But look at my bananas. This is all 100% dry farmed. I'm doing 100% dry farm. Nothing's going to ever get watered here. I know more what I'm doing now, so I know not to put in a well and connect stuff to water because I think that my partner thinks that they need water. I have experimented enough to know that nothing needs to be watered, especially if you're in a system like this. This is all this carbon weight is water below ground also. 8 times the weight of that wood is water below ground that's always there. That in a connected system has a communally, a microbiological communal network that is beneficial, that trades nutrients and water. Water is the highway in the mycelium that delivers the nutrients and the biology to the other plants and trades DNA with different plants of different species that ends up in the phenotype of that plant that's being planted into the system. So I have to get the top layer of the soil refixed, and probably there's a compaction layer below from mowing with heavy machinery that I'm hoping that the Garcinias with the taproot break up. So, but these bananas in here, they look great. People think you need to water bananas. That's so ridiculous. It's all about the microbiology. It's all it is. Where your stuff comes from does matter. I have bought seeds and plants from different growers that grow using peat moss and hollytone, and those plants never adapt. Even cuttings from those plants don't adapt. I'm not sure what that is, but definitely the phenotype is inheritable. And once you've damaged it with pollutants and they're not getting the microbes in their genotype is compromised from the fertilizers that people use, the plastics they grow their plants in. Any number of pollutants can cause the mitochondria of the plant to malfunction and make it unadaptable to a natural farming system like this. So, but these bananas look great. These are from Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, of course. Probably if you got some from a farm that grew using industrial fertilizers, they wouldn't adapt as well and would probably struggle. I plant all my plants bare root, so I remove all this soil as much as I can. Even if it's my soil, I try to remove it. But yeah, look at these bananas. No freeze, so they can handle 26 degrees. And it was 26 degrees. The air temp was 26 degrees in the canopy, so I know that it was cold here. But Florida, 26 degrees this far south, I guess, is very different than just a little bit north. I know they try to say that New Orleans is 9B, but I've lived in New Orleans for 7 years, and there's no way that 9B in New Orleans is warmer than 9A here in Citra, Florida. There's not even a comparison. I don't know how they come up with that stuff, but just like California 9A is not the same as Florida 9A. And it's just not. Totally different. Florida is very unique. So I have planted some other Garcinias in here, but I forgot to mark them, and I like to walk through here, so I realized I need to mark them at least when I start out, until I have some sticks I could put around them so that I won't walk. But since they picked up all the sticks after the hurricanes and stuff and all the carbon and burned it, there's no material to mark my plants. There's getting to be some wood on the ground, but I guess it's really hard to repair old growth forests. The damage, once it's done, it's pretty much forever. And I hope that's not the case with this beautiful forest, and I pray that it's going to be resilient, and hopefully with the practices that I'm employing here, they will start to start to heal the system, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, time will tell. So there's lots of plastic here, all this plastic tape. We're in the process of putting up fences. So I got my little heifer, my 2024 heifer out of Luna, in here with my little bull Romy and my new bull calf, Capretta Farms Hawk and Vogel Farms Butterbean. And she came in to get some hay that we had leftover hay. She's not very happy, but I got to put Peanut in here. I just don't want, and then I'm going to take Romy out because he's 2 years old. It's amazing that he's 2 years old, that bull right there, and she's only a year, not even a year old, 11 months. But I just don't want them breeding my heifers, her half brother, and so she shouldn't come in heat for a few more months, but you never know. But I have to get Pumpkin and Peanut in here. Peanut's a little younger than Bubbles, and Pumpkin is only 3 months old. So Peanut and Pumpkin are really good friends. So I'm going to wait until Pumpkin is 4 months old, and then I'm going to, I hate to wean her early, but I need to get Peanut in there away from her father, because I definitely don't want her breeding with her father. And then I'm going to move Romy out. So I'm going to wean Pumpkin at 4 months like most people do with miniature Zebus. Peanut and Bubbles I left on their mother. And they seem to be very well adjusted. So in here I planted, this is the old chicken coop. We don't eat eggs, we don't eat meat, so we're vegan, so we had no use for chickens. I'm not really keen on chickens. I had them as a child. I know people use them. They're good for your garden. And in here is a big cayenne pepper that totally unaffected by the 26 degrees. And there's a tomato right there that got affected. So I planted about 20 different Garcinia seeds in here, Gardneriana, Braziliensis, and I think an intermediate or two. But to see how, if they'd come up, I'm sure they will. But I just wanted to start putting stuff in here. I'm sure a cacao would do good in here, probably closer to that oak tree underneath this oak canopy. But things are looking good. Our pastures are still fairly green. Parts of them are burnt, but there's a lot of green left in it. Considering as cold as it was, I'm very surprised that we even have grass. Got quite a bit of grass, which is nice. It's just so beautiful here. I mean, this is like surrounded by the Black Sink Prairie. Black Sink Prairie is all along or on all sides of this. This is an island called Zygmunt Island, and it's just beautiful, and it's quiet, and The neighbors are really nice, and there's no traffic. And my babies are coming up to see me, my little darling cows. There's Carnation, and there's the bull Wally. This is our future. I love the miniature Zebu. There's my little girl Pumpkin. She's so cute. Carnation's daughter. She's the gray cow right there. She used to be in charge of all the cows. She was top cow, but Pepsi has thrown her off her queen status. Pepsi's top cow now. I think it has to do with Pepsi has 2 children, and Carnation only has 1 micro child. But they're really amazing. Hi, Carnation. I have no treats for you, sweetie. No, I don't. I'll go in here and then end this video. And then go plant my... I see Wally the bull is trying to act tough. Hi, Peps. She hates Carnation. Better run, she's gonna get you. She was so mean to Pepsi when Pepsi was a little calf, because Pepsi's our youngest cow. Hi, honey, how are you, princess? I love you. Hi, Wally, how are you? Oh, my little angels. How's it going, honey? He's 32 inches. She's 33 inches. This is Luna. This is Bubbles' mother. She's 36 inches. Here's little Pumpkin. Pumps, come here. Hi, honey. How are you? She's a little doll baby. She's so sweet. Pumps, come here. Here's Peanut. Peanut is probably our best looking cow as far as body. She just put together really nice. Color-wise, definitely it's Pepsi. She's like the ideal cow right here. But her daughter is quite the star. She's quite beautiful. Very well built. Got some nice color to her. She's white and reddish. Hi, fish. She's a big cow. I know, you don't mind your daughter being gone. Hi, Paps. Little sweetie. They're the sweetest, most amazing things in the world. Yes, they are, my little darlings. Yes, they are. I love you guys. Anyway, I'm Eric at Ups and Downs Zebu Ranch in Citra, Florida. And this is Florida Natural Farming. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a nice comment. Pepsi always enjoys hearing from you. Have an excellent day.